Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I have a video of my own in the Tier 10 Japanese cruiser, the Zao, and it's been a year and 2 days since the last time I showed this ship on the channel, and really not a lot has changed for her. She's still as effective and deadly in the right hands as she always was. HE is a strong point, but I think a lot of people fail to miss how strong her AP can be. If you have another cruiser, with the 9.7 detectability of the Zao, you basically outspot all of the cruisers, the exception being the Minnow. And what this lets you do is it allows you to control the engagement. You choose when to become undetected. So you just sit there with AP, waiting for a cruiser to show broadside, and then fire, and you can get a number of citadels, and opening an engagement with like 12 to 15,000 damage definitely sets the tone for a duel, and you can get a lot more than that. That's just a conservative kind of average. And then as you kite away, you've got the HE, and you always have the option to go dark, because the exception of something like the Henry, you're able to outrun the other ships. So off the bat here, we're playing on North, and it's the new version of the map. So two of the caps are already held. There's no cap out on the outside anymore, which in the past I probably would have gone for, simply because I have good speed, my concealment, and I really do want to get in behind the enemies. Instead, I basically just sit where I started, waiting for enemy ships to sail closer, and the first to do so is a beautifully skinned Republic wearing that Paris skin, and it actually fools me for a bit in this one, because I thought I could have sworn I lit the ship on fire, but I didn't see flames, and I remembered, right, Paris, its version of flames, is this like electrical storm on the decks. So, with some enemy ships closing in, I'm just going to sail away, keep my guns firing. HE really is the ammo of choice in this case, battleship. I might get in with the AP, but I don't know when they're going to go dark, if they're going to go dark, stuff like that. So I really want to get that fire, just have that tick of damage. And there you can see that electrical kind of blue fire that the spaceships get. And so far, pretty happy with the start of this match. 15,000, now 18,000 damage, continuing to increase, and I'm pretty safe here. Even more so now that our Shimikaze is laying a smoke out in front of me. And I'm just going to sit here and work on this Republic. Now at this point, with their angling, their range, I really could switch to AP and probably get quite some decent damage. But they've damage controlled, so in my head I'm going, it looks like they're about to disappear behind land. Let's get a fire so the tick damage goes, and maybe I can finish them off when no one's even able to shoot on them. And I'm just not having that RNG luck. That said, I have done 30,000 damage just over 3 minutes into a match, so you gotta be happy with some things. And momentarily the Republic runs aground, and that pretty much seals her fate in this one, because there's no way for her to back up, unstuck, and get moving forward before she is finished off. And that's with speed boost and everything. There's just too many ships who can see her, myself included, and the Zao's HE can be incredibly punchy. 4,700 hit points left, the volley's in the air, and there's the fire I was looking for. A couple ticks, and she is gone. So not much else happening yet, I decide, well, I've been able to basically sit still and shoot. I'm gonna continue to milk that. There's no reason for me to charge out and get spotted. The first volley there, 6,700 damage and a fire. Very happy with that. And the Missouri makes what I consider a common mistake, especially in a battleship, which is first fire puts it out. Because now I am going to do nothing but bombard her with HE, trying to get one, maybe two more fires going on her, and then I could just sail away and start working on another target, and she is going to lose health. Now yes, most of it will be recoverable by those damage control parties, but allies are going to be shooting her too. And I get the first fire, another volley in the air, just hoping to kind of light a second spot. There it is. And you can just watch the health melt. But with the Missouri kind of backing up around that corner, I decide it's time for me to get moving. Musashi's over there. It would have had shots at me. I'm looking for shots in return, but I just can't find them. Land just high enough to block these shells. Now, if I'd been in an American cruiser, definitely could have lobbed them over. And that's, I'd say, one of the downsides to the Zhao is these guns are kind of like lasers. They're very low arc. And that means you can have trouble engaging other cruisers or loftier firing ships when you've got low land between you and them. You might both be spotted, but they can engage you when you can't. So that's where you use your detection. Just disengage, go dark, find a new angle, surprise them. It's kind of the way I think. So we're just passing through 6 minutes in the match. I'm up to 86,000 damage. Things aren't looking great for us though. The enemy team pretty much has every single cap. They're securing C. It is contested, but a lot of what's happening is that DeGrossa there. And, well, he's gonna go down. I just kind of spray some shots around here, hoping to hit the Shimakaze. It's on next to no health. You want to get rid of those DDs when you can, but our Yami does the job. So, with that one threat removed, and really the big target in range being this Musashi, she is the next target I'm going to pick. Now I am keeping mentally aware of that Grosser Kurfürst out at A. If I just continue to sail towards them, completely oblivious to their presence, you know, in angling for this Musashi, I might get absolutely blapped by a tier 10 battleship. And you can see me always just kind of checking over there between shots. You know, I fire, kind of watching where the shells go, I look at the Kurfürst. Back to the target I'm working on, and I'm just continuously monitoring. And with some torpedoes going by, I decide, you know what, it's time to get Hydra up. Not feeling 100% alone over here, because those looked like Shima torps going by, and yes, they could have been the dead Shima, but their angle is all wrong. Musashi gets a good hit on me there, but I can repair it. And that kind of brings me to the next weak point of the Zhao, is it does not have a lot of hit points or a lot of armor to keep things out. So you really do need to pick and choose when you are engaging things and when you're choosing to go dark. And the Shima makes a bit of a mistake here, I'd say. Really should not have fired. Shouldn't have used the smoke, should have just stayed undetected and waited for its torpedo racks to attack me. But I think perhaps they're not having a great game. They want to guarantee themselves some damage. Unfortunately, my Hydro is up and available, and I just sail straight towards the smoke until they're in it. And, you know, there's not a lot of getting away from this. They might live, but at that kind of range, I'm a fast enough ship, you know. Can do about 35 knots in a full sprint. The Shima's just not going to run away quickly enough, especially without her engines. And you can see them wiggling, they're doing their best, they're coming around, which to me pretty much telegraphs, hey, I'm firing torpedoes at you, because, you know, they would never do this. They're not shooting their guns, and you can see where the guns are aiming. So I already had the rudder over, making dodging these torpedoes a bit of a breeze, and sadly I don't get the kill on that one. Friendly finishing them off, but more than happy. Still imminently aware of this Kurfürst, and what I'm going to do is go dark. I'm going to use the Shima smoke and use that as my opportunity to turn around. Now, I can definitely just go dark at this point. You know, 9.7, nothing's inside, but ideally this smoke would have let me get away with a cheeky volley or two. Sadly, not much to shoot at. I do fire my torpedoes off. The Kurfürst is sailing the wrong way, but you never know where enemy ships are. Maybe something could sail into them. It doesn't hurt, and at the time I honestly wasn't paying much attention. I just saw their range and went, well, they sail straight at me. They could close that. And this Musashi decides it's time to fight, and really the enemy team had no reason to be pushing. Now that Musashi does have a lot coming in behind her, so I understand the desire to do that. And there's a Yugumo. I think it's my spotting plane that actually does the detection. Finish her off quickly, and then it's back to the Musashi. And I am giving the Sushi a good chunk of my broadside. Thankfully they're not aiming me. I have priority target. I know when I'm being targeted by enemy ships, and right now they're just leaving me alone. That's a bit of a mistake in my opinion. I can get a lot of damage out, and in this case it's completely free. There's no threat to me right now, or at least there wasn't. Now one is targeting me. Well, who is it? This is where you kind of look around. You can see the Musashis turning in, and these are probably going to hurt. It's a little slow to react, so yeah, I eat a lot of damage there. And I was kind of picking my battles with who I was angling to. I knew I had the Qckslvrslash behind me. I had this Iowa, so the Musashi that wasn't actively aiming at me, trying to hit me all the time, it's going to be the target you pick 9 times out of 10. And I'm up to 181,000 damage. Things are starting to look good for us. We don't have the caps, we don't have points, but we're running ahead on kills. And that goes a long way. Now there still is a gearing up near the decap. Our Yami's getting close. They're about to eat some torpedoes. But the Yami survives, spots the gearing, and that's pretty much going to be the end of her. That said, I'm definitely helping. I fire a shot when the gearing's pretty much on full health. You can see the secondaries hitting there, and well, one of my shells connects. That's all I need to pick up a kill. And it felt a little stealish there, but I did fire when the gearing was on full health, and that's something to always consider. I've heard people raging in game that they haven't been spotted for 20 seconds. How did you possibly hit me? Well, shell flight times are that long, and it's the same thing with kill steals. Maybe someone's not actively waiting to fire at the last possible moment. Perhaps they're just far enough away that when they shot, you know, by the time the shells get there, the thing's on so low health, they get next to no damage and the kill. But with the 3rd kill, I'm starting to think, maybe, just maybe, I can get the Kraken. Now points is still a concern, so I'm going to head straight for A as I work down this Iowa and get another kill. Up to 190k damage, 4 kills. This is a solid game for me. And, well, really my hope is this Qckslvrslash or Hindenburg for the Kraken, and it's probably not going to happen. The Qckslvrslash is on the wrong side of the island, so I'm like, okay, well, maybe this Hindenburg. I've still got to close. Another downside to the Zhao, 18.8 max range without that spotter plane. And, well, by the time I do, I'm kind of contemplating. I go, you know, do I go after the Qckslvrslash, try to just get damage, or do I go for the Hindenburg? The Hindy's a maneuverable ship, and I'm kind of not deciding, and that ultimately potentially cost me a kill, but I choose to start working the Qckslvrslash. And then as I get a little closer, the Hindenburg kind of sailing away side on. I feel I might have a shot here, so I take that one. And I do this a lot in the Zhao. I just kind of switch back and forth between 1 or 2 targets. And the Yami does a great job finishing the Hindi off, so everyone's focused on this GK. And, well, it's a tough ship, but not that tough. It is going to melt pretty quickly under this kind of attention. Get a fire, pick up my high caliber, and torpedoes are going to be what end the game. I don't quite make the 200k mark. But at 192,000 damage, 4 kills, I'm more than happy with this game. I also pick up Witherer and High Caliber, make almost 500,000 credits and 9,000 experience, so very happy with that. Fires did play a big role in this one, and despite talking about the power of AP at the start of the video, I actually didn't use it throughout the video. And it's because a lot of the things I was shooting at were either destroyers or battleships. and the AP doesn't do quite as well against them. Battleship side on, it will still ruin if you hit the right spot, but it's not the same effect that it has when you surprise a cruiser. Just shy of 2300 XP, top of the team. Always happy when that happens. And when you look at the damage, you can see the Republic, the Missouri, two of my biggest targets for getting damage from, but also that Musashi. Yeah, that ship has a lot of hit points, and I managed to do a lot of damage to her. Not necessarily always from my guns. The fires chipping in a very large portion of the damage, about 75,000, and end of the day took home 191,000 credits. It's not near the amount I actually got because there are a lot of expenses, but still enough to make me happy. Anyways, I hope people enjoyed this. It's been a while since I've featured a Japanese cruiser. Actually, looking at the playlist, it's a very lacking playlist, so it's a line I'm going to have to focus a bit more attention on. So if you have a great game in a Japanese cruiser, send it my way. I will happily feature it. Anyways, if you did enjoy it, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash. I'll have another one for you all later.